Hey, Fanboy Nation.
This is your pal Daffy Duck, and you're watching.
We're watching Fanboy.
A fanboy, etc.
Fanboy Nation.
Dot, I assume Tom.
Today, I'm speaking with a young man who is starring in the new Hulu limited series, premiering on March 3rd, called The Dropout. Jake Satow, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Listen, man, I can't complain. You know, it's a beautiful afternoon here in Southern California. I got a fake sunset backdrop behind me, so, you know, trying to live the life.
That's awesome, man.
Although I do feel for you a little bit. You know, your dad is in education policy, and your mom is a doctor in special education. So that means she's got a lot of psychological background. You couldn't get away with anything.
No, I definitely could not get away with anything with my mom in the house. I can tell you that much.
She's probably looking over your shoulder right now, just giggling at that.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, tell me, like, how does the son of two educators decide to go into the arts?
I was exposed to a lot of it as a kid. My aunt, my mom's older sister, was in theater, and I was always really inspired by what she did. I had my mom sign me up for a few theater classes when I was little. I joined a few plays, some musicals, and I fell in love with it. And through that, I ended up being in my first commercial for a local architecture company from my hometown. And I thought that was just the coolest thing in the world. I got my first check in the mail, and I was like, holy crap. Like, this is so much fun. It was the craziest experience I'd ever had. And that's how I got exposed.
And you go from that to end up working with Julia Roberts and Sean Penn.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Things move quick, especially when you're 16 years old.
You're totally right.
You know, you're really young. You're getting all this success super early. Like, how are your parents keeping you grounded without letting you become one of those like Hollywood scene kids?
I go to a regular high school. I'm able to just keep it real through most of my free time. I play a lot of sports. I play tennis. I play football. I do a little bit of wrestling. I'm able to just stay around the kids who also live a regular life that are different than mine. And I feel like just being able to be exposed by other regular kids who would probably have a huge ego if they were in the shoes that I were in. Not trying to say that I don't, because I do sometimes. But
listen, man, you're a wrestler. We all have egos.
Yeah. But I think that I'm able to stay a little more humble just being able to be around other regular high school kids myself.
What are you competing at? 135, 140?
Right now, I'm actually competing at 162.
162. Dude, that's a tough weight class.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really, anything between 145 and 171 is a tough weight class.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, well, good for you, man. You know, wrestling's one of our tougher sports, and I'm glad somebody else is competing in it these days.
Yeah.
I went when we had it was 215, and so I wrestled 215, and then I wrestled heavyweight.
I could never imagine being a heavyweight wrestler. It sounds like, because I have a lot of friends that wrestle heavyweight. They're like super ripped. I don't understand how they do it. It looks super, like lifting 240 pounds over your head must be crazy.
Dude, the thing is like if you're on the lighter side of the heavyweight scale, you don't have to worry about cutting weight. It's the guys that are pushing 290 that have to worry about getting down to 275 that are going to have the problem.
Yeah.
But man, so tennis, football, wrestling, you know, your cardio is all up there.
Yeah, it is.
How has sports prepared you for acting?
It definitely helps with discipline a lot. The mental aspect of playing sports is actually very similar to anything else you do in life, whether it's a 9-to-5 or being an actor or professional tennis player. You really have to have that level of mental discipline of working for a long time and putting your all into something and being able to not complain about it and not moan about it. Just be able to have fun or get whatever you're doing done and have a good day.
And well, you're doing something right, because you know a lot of people don't have that discipline.
Yeah.
What is it like when you get the dropout and then you end up working with these actors in this limited series. And then, of course, you know, there's the other one that's based on the Watergate scandal. What's it? Gaslit and Adeline and all these other films and projects that you're working on. And you got a Christmas movie coming out, so that's got to be fun on top of everything else.
Especially for the Dropout, I feel like that's when I was like super, super shocked, because I remember auditioning for that and I was like, I didn't have the most. When you do an audition, it's not like you're expecting to get the role or for something ever. And when you get something for that, it's like, holy crap, I'm about to work with Amanda Seyfried for a series of weeks. And it's just like, I don't know. It's so hard for me to even comprehend it until I was there in the car with Amanda Seyfried sitting on my left, like driving me around for hours on end in like 105-degree weather. I was like, this is awesome. Like it's just so out of this world for me to even put into words right now as we talk about it.
Right. And you didn't even have your license at the time.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, that's gotta be like a kick in the pants where you sit there like, Amanda Seyfried's the one driving me around right now.
Yeah.
Even though it's on set, there's got to be that aspect of like, all right, I think I'm cooler than everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, how does that up your cachet at a regular high school?
A lot of people, actually, I try and not talk too much about it, but as our school is sending out newsletters about, you know, kids' recent accomplishments, because that's what they do if someone like wins states or something, or they qualify for whatever. People are starting to realize that Jake Satow is working with Amanda Seyfried, and not a lot of the guys are they don't act very impressed by it, but I definitely know that a lot of the girls that are interested in like Mamma Mia and Les Miserables and Mean Girls especially are they thought it was really interesting. But I try and stay humble about it. I think that it's I don't know. I do my best to stay grounded about it. I don't talk about it very much. I definitely don't. I'm not a huge fan of a bunch of high school attention because I don't know, I'm just not that kind of person. But I think that it's people are definitely pretty surprised by it, actually.
Right. Plus, the IMDb page does the bragging for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. What have you accomplished? Well, if you go to imdb.com, you know, there you go.
Yeah. Look up Jake Satow.
Yeah. So with your parents both being educators, your mom being a doctor, your dad has to have a minimum of a master's degree in order to be, you know, creating policy for education. Where does that lead you to college? Like, are you going to get an education degree as well, or are you looking at some other industry as, you know, some sort of like late life retirement thing?
Right now, acting is definitely my number one priority. I think that I will definitely go to college. I've been touring colleges since 8th grade. It's been something that I've been looking up to for a very long time, since before high school, literally. But I have a few places in mind that if I do go to college that I will be sure to attend, and I'll probably study film, or I'll minor in film at least, or I'll study something that'll help me benefit my acting career for the future. And it's always good to have a plan B for whatever you're doing.
Plus, if you want to wrestle, Iowa's not too far from home, so.
Yeah.
Those guys are beasts, man. Dan Gable, like, you know, made them legendary.
They're crazy.
Yeah. I feel bad for everybody in college right now that's wrestling heavyweight with Steve Gabeson sitting there as the Olympic champion, just steamrolling over everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's it like when you get to, you know, like with sports, we have instant gratification, you know, when we win. Like, you know, football, you score a touchdown. Tennis, you ace somebody. Wrestling, you get the pin. You know, you get that jubilation right there. Versus something like this where, you know, all right, you get the audition, and now you got to wait 3 months for a call back if you get a call back. And then you start filming, and then it goes through the editing process. And it's almost like a year later before we can even make the announcement. And now here we are 2 weeks out from it. Is like that final 2-week push more stressful than waiting for the callback?
I wouldn't think that it's more stressful than waiting for the callback. I think the biggest form of jubilation, as you said, would be just knowing that you're even going to be able to be a part of it at all. I think that I'm definitely I'm able to be patient to wait for something to come out, because that's something that I've dealt with since I started. That's how it works. But I think that it's definitely a close second would definitely be being able to watch the premiere. I think that's a big moment of just relief and jubilation and just like so exciting.
Are you going to take your artsy aunt with you, since she's the one that kind of inspired you to get into acting?
I'm sure I will. She's definitely a big inspiration for where I am today.
Yeah. What's it like for her to see you get this far? I mean, parents are your parents, but like sometimes the people that inspire you, have a different reaction than you'd expect.
She's mind blown. Yeah, dude. She's totally like she's I mean, I remember coaching with her for my first audition for something ever. She was literally coaching me about like how I should be acting. So I had no idea what I was doing. But now, like, flash forward 5 years from that little mini coaching session I had with her on FaceTime for 20 minutes. Now I'm like, it's just, I'm in a completely different spot than where I think either of us would ever have imagined 5 years ago.
And now you're all like, excuse me, Auntie, Amanda said that you're doing this wrong.
Yeah.
Julia Roberts had told me at this one point, you got to have fun with it a little bit, at least with the family.
Yeah.
So football, wrestling, tennis, acting, school throughout the year. Yeah. There's got to be like some downtime for you. Like, when do you even get that? Like after you finish your homework?
After I don't have a lot of downtime, but I mean, between auditions and between sports, I wouldn't consider sports and acting auditions work. I mean, it is work. It's hard work, but I'm having a lot of fun while I'm doing it. And I feel like I definitely would not be doing any of it if I weren't enjoying it while I was doing it. But in the times that I do have free time, I'll usually hang out with my friends, or I'll work out, or I'll just do whatever I really feel like doing. I'll lounge, I'll nap. Average teenage boy stuff.
Good luck with the napping thing, man. It doesn't sound like you have time for more than a 20-minute power nap.
Oh, can't go wrong with a 20-minute power nap.
Yeah, you got to keep your grades up. You got to do all this other stuff that's going along with it. You could, when you are on set, do you take classes on set because you're still underage, or is there like, they make the schedule where it's around school? Like, how does that work for you?
When I filmed Adeline, that was during like prime time COVID. So I was taking Zoom classes already for high school. So I was able to Zoom into classes between scenes. I remember I was in my history class while filming a scene one time. I had my history class on mute on my phone while the camera was rolling. But I was usually shots are in the middle of the day, and I'll do whatever I can do in the moment to make up for whatever. But the on-set teacher can help often too with whatever I'm missing. And they're always pretty helpful, and they're always very nice people and very fun to work with, very professional people.
Well, that's good, man. And then I'm sure like your mom or dad are kicking around when you're on set too, so they're making sure you're in check.
Yeah. They're very, very good about that.
And then you get busted when you get a 3.2 GPA at the end of the semester.
Yep. That sounds like my parents.
B- in trig. What's the matter with you? It sounds like most parents, to be honest with you.
Yep.
But like all this other stuff, like, do you even join like drama club at this point in school, or is that like, just to have fun and like do like school plays as well? Like, is that even an option for you?
To be completely honest with you, I haven't done something with my school since like probably 7th or 8th grade, because I didn't feel like it was like, I don't know if I want to say professional enough, because it's a high school play. None of it's going to be professional, but I definitely just did not feel like it was managed as well as most productions that I would do already were. And that just, it kind of bothered me a little bit that it wasn't like my usual standard, which I probably sound selfish, to be honest with you, but I didn't enjoy it as much as doing it as I usually do. So I haven't really been much of a part of school plays and drama anymore.
Let's put it like this: you're giving the other kids a chance to like be a rodeo. You don't want to steal everybody's like lead role at that point. I get it. We got to humble it up a little bit. Your mom's just shaking her head in the background, going,
Yes, she is. She's estimating her head at me right now.
No, man, you're doing something right to get this work, and you're talented enough to get there. What's it like filming a Christmas movie that's coming out this winter? Which I'm sure, I'm not sure if it's Hallmark or not, but what usually Christmas movies are filmed in like July, so you got to be bundled up in all these warm clothing in the middle of summer. Like, how stuffy is that for you?
This Christmas movie in particular was actually filmed in November. It was filmed in the Highlands of Scotland. It was very cold, very rainy, just a lot of cold, windy rain. I'm not going to complain because I didn't get to feel half of it. There were a lot of actors out there that had to film outside more than I did, but it was probably one of the most unique experiences I've ever had working on set, because you're in the middle of Scotland, there's snow on the mountains and there's rain everywhere, but just being able to be around like so much different culture than there is in America. The food's so much different. People talk way differently, obviously. And it's just, they handle things so much differently there. There's different laws about just how production is ran, work hours for child labor, and on-set teachers were a lot different there too. It was just, it's very interesting, but it was also like super, super fun. Like, just to be able to work in Scotland is a privilege as itself. It's so interesting, so unique.
And which one of your parents, won the wrestling match in order to get to go with you to Scotland at this point?
They actually both went with me to Scotland.
So there was no like thumb war or everything. Like, that's it. One of us is going.
There was no thumb war, no.
We got to make light of these things. I mean, you're living the life. You get to go to Scotland. Like, if you complained about the weather, people would be like, all right, that's it. I don't like this kid anymore. To hell with him. Yeah. So I'm glad you didn't complain about that. No, you're doing something right, man. So I'm really happy for you with all the early success that you have in life, that's working out in your favor. And now you have Gaslit as well. Take us through the process of that, and working on something that's related to the Watergate scandal. Is this like a modern retelling of it, or is it? I think you're playing J.B. Hunt's son in the film. So what's that like?
That was really interesting because I spent most of my time with Hunt's other children, who all looked just like me, which was absolutely ridiculous. It was like we were all total twins in a line, like just younger versions of myself, just over time. Some were like, it was just unreal how crazy we just looked alike. But just working on that production was just so much fun, and it was also very uniquely ran because there were so many famous people working on that set, and there was a lot of security, a lot of like strict, management times, and you got to get from point A to point B on time, and they were never behind on anything. They were always right on time, which is very uncommon. It's very professional.
When you get to make a film like that that's based on actual historical events, like, how much more significant is it, and how much more pressure is there for you to get it right?
I would say I wouldn't say it's a matter of pressure, because I'm pretty confident in the writer's ability and the director's ability of being able to manage the scene of how they want it and how it should look based off of real events they've read or heard about. I think more of it is just the aspect of blocking the scene correctly and being able to not be the star of the show if you're not the star of the show, not block anybody out if that's what you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But is there also like the pressure of like, Hunt's kids are there and you end up looking like him in real life and like, oh, I wouldn't have done that. And like, how do you avoid it becoming a caricature of them after having met them and like trying to implement some of their mannerisms as well?
That's actually pretty difficult. Now that now that you say that, yes, I feel like I almost always look back at anything that I did, and I'm like, if I'm playing a character based off of a true story, I'm like, well, if that guy probably would not have done that, I don't know what I was thinking when I did that. But even though nobody else is going to notice it, I'll always notice something like that I'll look at myself and see. But there's always that level of just like pressure that I'm not going to like this in the long run, because 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to, even if everybody else does. But I just got to be able to let that go, both when I watch it and while I'm filming it, that I've just got to be able to do my thing and just have some fun.
Well, after everything that's coming, the big question is what's next?
Oh, right now I have a movie coming up super, super far in advance. I have no idea when the date is. I think it's coming up sometime this late in the year, but it's called Wiley. It's a movie, and that's all I know about Miss Wiley.
That's the most you can say at all at this point. Is like, I got a movie. It's called Wiley. Good luck.
Yep.
You got to keep those NDAs active, man.
Yep.
With your mom being over your shoulder right now, watching you, and I'm teasing because I know how certain parents can be, because I used to be a teacher myself. So yeah, it makes interesting conversation with other teachers. Like, how does that affect your drive education wise? Because you're focusing on acting right now and you are going to school, but like, you got to keep the grades in check on top of it. And how is that possible for you? Like, do you set up like, all right, I get home after practice at like 5:30. So from 6 to 8 o'clock, I'm doing homework. Like, how does that work?
I spend a lot of time during like school lunch. I'll be doing my homework. I'll take advantage of every little opportunity that I get. I usually have some downtime during school, like during free periods and stuff like that, and study halls. But I just tend to manage my time as best as I can. I am obviously a 15-year-old guy. I'm not going to manage my time very well compared to most adults, but I definitely do procrastinate a little bit more than I should, and I end up doing my homework pretty late some nights. But prioritizing acting, I'm pretty good about. I can tell you that, and being able to keep my grades in check. Right now, I'm managing it pretty well.
Well, congratulations, Jake. I'm happy for you with everything. Next interview, I want you to bring your mom in, just so like she can tell us the psychological tricks for other parents of child actors that she can train them with, or maybe she could create a course in order to do something like that.
I feel like she'd be able to teach that course very, very well. She's doing
taking notes right now. Like, my husband does education policy. I'll set up the course. All right, here we go. You got a book out of it on top of it. Write the forward for him. Jake, listen, man, I know you're busy. Thank you so much for your time. Where can we find you on social media if we want to connect?
Find me at Jake Satow Official on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on your little podcast today.
Hey, Jake, thank you so much. March 3rd on Hulu. We're getting the Dropout. So congratulations.
Thank you so much.